So we're back, and following my Microsoft presentation, we've got a member of the newest member of the Microsoft family, John Tucker from Metaswitch with the Metaswitch Keynote. So John, over to you.
Great, thanks Patrick, and good morning, good afternoon everybody. So I'm here to share a few thoughts from Metaswitch on the market, where it's headed, and our strategy with Microsoft to enable you to capture great value with the opportunities ahead of us. So this year has obviously been an enormous level of change, and we see very much a once in a generation wave of disruption and change. Obviously with the pandemic, what we have seen is a radical change in working patterns. With working from home, disrupted and displaced workers, and a set of permanent changes to working habits associated with that. We do not see a snapback in a few months to the way things were. Rather, we see a structural change in how work is done. We also see a structural and very rapid change in technology adoption. We've been marketing for 10, 12, 15 years the benefits of cloud collaboration, and we've made material progress. But in the last 10 months, the reality is that technology adoption has moved faster than we've ever seen in the last 15 years. And finally, at the same time, and as Patrick talked about just a moment ago, as Metaswitch for us has been a big change. We were acquired by Microsoft, completing what I think is probably the world's first completely virtual M&A under the conditions of COVID lockdown. And we are now a wholly owned subsidiary of Microsoft, working with the Azure and the Teams groups, as Patrick identified, very much focused on developing the communication offerings from Microsoft, not just to Microsoft direct customers, but in particular with a real focus as Metaswitch, and as evidenced by also the Affirmed acquisition, a huge focus on enabling operators and building much deeper partnerships with operators to go and meet the needs of end businesses. And as we have been working through in great detail with the Teams product group on our strategy for the Metaswitch product line and the direction taking that forward, and the opportunities to work together to capture the opportunity of this growth with Teams, with operators, I'm really excited on the path ahead. So let's talk quickly about just the market context. And the big trend we've been working on for 10 years really has been how we take siloed, distinct propositions and integrate them into one unified communication experience. Really what we've seen over the last 10 months has been actually a big shift in the opposite direction, a real increase in fragmentation as businesses have been focusing on a make-do approach to dealing with their new scenario by adoption of video collaboration and cloud collaboration tools very quickly into the business that aren't really integrated into the rest of the business estate, and without retiring any legacy platforms that are still heavily in use. And we see a lot more communication islands now, whether that's individual users who are not really connected with other parts of the business, or whole separate chunks of the business, different sites or different departments with different tooling. And what we're seeing now is that businesses are really focused, having dealt with the urgent tactical short term, are focused now on that long term of how do I put in place the right tool chain, the right set of communication products and tools to deliver, first of all, a really effective user experience for their end users, where perhaps more so than ever before, the real usability and adoption of the UC tool is very paramount to decision makers as a primary consideration. It's kind of hard to ignore that when your CEO is telling you he's having difficulty using the product. And secondly is how to federate and integrate these multiple tools in the business, all of which are very deeply embedded and have an important place. And of course, in an environment where a very large number of businesses now have Teams as a tool that they are using as an integrated part of certainly their internal collaboration, but in many cases also for their customer interaction. And so that's the core problem for the business. For the operator, we see that the core question is how to retool your business, how to evolve your portfolio of offerings and your solutions to meet this challenge and deliver significant value to the market. Now, the reality is actually we think that the operator community, us here today, and particularly in France, are best placed to win in this market. And the key reasons are here up on screen, but as we talk to our operator customers, the overwhelming majority feel very good, or that there are excellent opportunities to go and win in this market. And we think the operators who will really thrive and succeed are the ones who can meet the customer where they are, understand their new reality. We can't just continue pushing the old product and solutions that we had the last 5-10 years. We have to address these issues around integration, federation, and user experience and adoption. But we think that the operator community has a unique opportunity to be the complete solution provider to end businesses by bringing together and integrating together the various components that the business has into an effective, coherent whole solution. Now, as Metaswitch, we continue to focus as a wholly owned subsidiary within Microsoft with a strategy that we've developed in conjunction with the Teams group to continue enabling you, the operator, to build for, first of all, your own solutions under your own brand with your control over the end user offer. We recognize that you, the operator, have the closest relationship and connection with your customers and your market situation and your segments. And it's important that you can build the offer that works for you. We continue to double down on our mobile integration and delivering a native experience, even more important now in the pandemic, where displaced workers increasingly will find themselves working from a variety of different devices, and in a situation where perhaps the desk-based voice infrastructure isn't present in their home working environment, putting more dependency on their mobile. We're committed to an open ecosystem, and so all those partnerships we have built over the last 15 years, we continue to develop and grow, and this is very much in line with the wider Microsoft strategy that you see, which is to embrace and develop an open partner ecosystem. And we remain committed, Microsoft and Metaswitch, committed to the existing Metaswitch business model, the commercial model with operators to meet you where you are, to help and assist you to build a compelling and profitable high margin business. And there are two key areas we're adding new capabilities to the solution. The first is that where we recognize very often, as Patrick identified, we're sending into businesses where Teams is present and is in use, particularly for collaboration messaging, also for video conferencing. And so we're adding a set of best-in-class, best-in-market integrations between the Max UC product line and our SBC Teams direct routing solutions into Teams to connect, federate, to integrate the two solutions together. And finally, we remain committed to the in-network operator deployment model in your cloud, where that remains and continues to be your preference and your architecture approach to market. We are also introducing the capability to consume Metaswitch technology in Azure and from Azure, whether that's to enable you to set up new instances in geographically remote areas, to build out your disaster recovery distribution model, or whether you want to enter a market with a new proposition quickly without the CapEx and the IT overhead of starting out with a new solution. And so bringing that back to then the market and the main opportunities we see, and really, Patrick, I think, summarizes very well. Of course, there is a great deal of value you as the operator can continue to create under your own brand with your own solution into your market segments. There's then significant additive opportunity we see around Teams, and to, first of all, deliver the connectivity, but also to build around that connectivity a set of network delivered services from your platform to complement the capabilities that Teams delivers. And finally, we see a great deal of opportunity for you to be as the service provider going into the business, that single point of ownership and responsibility, delivering that joined up, federated voice and communication experience for the business. Whatever their start point, and they are varied and wide, you as the operator can be that single point who can bring the whole together, integrate the whole, and deliver a joined up solution. And across the Metaswitch portfolio, with our Perimeter SBC, with our Max UC application server, our contact center and collaboration solutions, we believe we bring the full tool chain, full tool set to the operator to enable you to go and win in this market. Thank you very much for your time today. Please do come and visit our virtual booth. We are very interested to talk to you about your situation, your opportunity, and how we can help you thrive in this market and with the opportunities ahead of your teams.
Fantastic, John. That was great. Really interesting, and thank you for your time and your presentation there. Fascinating to see that, and yeah, looking forward to having you on the rest of the roadshow to other countries.
Thanks, Tom.